It was quite brutal, but NPL, it must have, it either makes the man or it breaks the man. And as far as I can tell, it looks like it's made him. And he's now looking to try and drive his own career forward and show everybody what he's capable of. And he's still only like 18 years old, man.
Yeah, I mean, certainly prove it in the server there. We do have the action for you, though, so thank you, of course, for bearing with us, and enjoy Mirage.
Let's go. Let's go, mate. Let's see what Bait and Bleed have to show for us today. And it looks like, Matt, it's an early A play on Mirage.
Yeah, it is indeed. Not wasting any time as they look to try and get themselves into the bomb site here. Favin still behind. Triple is going to catch a Glock bullet to the head, as does Cirque. So, there we go. Confirmation Cirque is in the server as we expected. Retake is going to be attempted here. Of course, Hamper's coming through from CT and then Vladden from ramp. So, coming from opposite ends of the bomb site right now, going to be tough to support each other. Vladden's hoping to catch somebody off guard because they don't know for a fact that he's come through from ramp, but nobody's offering up an inch right now, so he's going to have to force these gunfights. He does not have a kit, and he doesn't have a head.
Yeah, very nice start for Bait. They've played this map enough to know that strategies like that are sometimes very difficult for CTs to answer back. Sometimes the CTs on the pistol have to do something a little bit crazy, a little bit wacky to even manage to respond in those situations, or just hit a ridiculous play, and that's not exactly very reliable, of course, for them. And that is a great start for Bait. And yeah, it's definitely a team to watch, like we've been talking about. Looking forward to seeing their progression already. They're winning the last 4 BO3s, of course. They've played 2-0. The last 14 out of the last 16 maps as well, overall. Honestly, incredibly clean and incredibly impressive. And for Bleed, it's a full eco in the following round. Gives Bait a chance for the clean 2-0 start.
Yeah, we have seen Force Buys become a bit more popular on the CT side after losing the pistol, and I think the teams have kind of realized, yeah, we need as much utility as we can possibly get going into that first gun round. I'd say especially on a map like Mirage where, you want to be chain smoking connector, you want to try and delay the round as much as you possibly can with Molly's ramp or Palace, So those extra pieces of util, you don't really want to go into your gun round with 2 pieces of util, like a flash and a smoke or something like that. That's why we do see some teams forcing up in the second round. I think I just contradicted myself. The point I'm making, you force second round, you get more util in that first gun round because you eco in the third. You full eco second round, you get the gun round in the third, but then there's less util. So I guess Bleed are saying we don't need much utility to work with on the CT side. Yep. They want the gun round, Trav, as soon as possible.
Exactly. Some damage would be nice, at least, for Bleed here, but I don't think it's going to happen. Just playing for some exits. Why not? Mac-10 of Captain Kurtko, of course, will be looking for some frags with this Mac-10. And he spots 2 in Palace and realizes that he probably needs to escape. This is where Bleed will try and help out, but... or help themselves, but yeah, it doesn't work. They walk into Head Trick, and actually, it's probably even worse as it gives Head Trick a little bit extra money, of course, for a future T-side orb, but all good for Bait. They do have that 2-0 start confirmed. They have built up enough money as well for possibly a drop, but they haven't gone for that. We're going to keep with what we've got, keep the pace high with the 2 SMGs and the Galils, and see if Bleed can hold them at bay on this first gun round, of course, because when you've got those Mac-10s and got those Galils, Bleed know that. They've had to buy up the helmets, of course, not just the Kevlar, to make sure they don't get gooshed by these Mac-10s.
Yeah, good attention to detail coming through from them, but that does mean even less utility having to spend the extra 350 to... Oh, okay, well, never mind. All Cypher needed was a flash. 1 flash, 2 frags found, both NPL and Captain Kirker cut down. That is Cypher in a nutshell, the playmaker, never afraid to get into the faces of his opponents.
Yeah, he's actually been on unreal form as of late, making those sort of plays happen on a regular basis. Playmaker, as you say, on both sides of the map. And he's looking great with it as well. He's got a bit of a funkier view model, but you know what? I'll forgive him if he makes frags like that happen. Favin toward CT area, getting peppered by that utility by Essential, and that's when Alex actually swings him. His round is not in the basket yet for
No.
Bleed. They do need to be careful here, and of course Cypher's playing the headshot angling connector, trying to tap down his opponent Essential, but he takes that one as well with the Galil. Suddenly it's spiraling slightly with Cirque tagged down to 50 as well.
Not a great smoke, though, towards CT. It does give Hampus some room to play with. Bleed have got 3 players retaking, all from different angles right now. Hampus has lost his life, and Cirque is, as you say, low, but Flatten is doing the lifting right now. It's only Alex left, and the smoke has actually turned into a decent one for him. The bomb is planted default, as far as I know, so he's got the bomb planted in his favor. Vladden's got a smoke in the kit, though. That smoke dropped on the C4, but he doesn't have a head, and Cirque doesn't have any life left either. My goodness, Alex. Beautifully played in the 1v2.
Yeah, quad kill, 1 versus 2. That's super nice from him. He's up to a 7-0 start as well. Bleed kind of did, at least in that 1 versus 2, they kind of did everything they could in that scenario. They managed to par themselves round into a position where, of course, they wouldn't have been taken down straight away. But once Alex there, as you see it from his POV, saw that on the spray down, he tagged Cirque slightly as well. He realised he could just face and knew exactly where he'd be. Cirque would have had to fumble to pick up the kit as well. Would have been thrown forward slightly off the body in front of him. So, yeah, that is one that's gone south for Bleed. That was an early 5 versus 3 thanks to Cypher, and they could not convert it.
Yeah, and it's not even like there was a trade after he gets those initial 2 kills, which is a real concern for Bleed. I mean, Cypher also came very close to winning that gunfight with the Senthiel. I felt like he was destined to win that gunfight when he was in Connector, and then eventually just had his head ripped off. And not much going the way of Bleed here in this round either. Hampus can't hit the instant headshot. Captain Coca adjusts for the frag, and all things going swimmingly here for Bait on their map pick.
It's the perfect start. It's not just the fact that it's going to be a start that's still got the clean sheet intact. It's a start that are in a position where they've already won a unlikely clutch. Something, of course, which Bleed have to put out of their minds pretty quickly. I'm sure that's something they will do. I think we had a chance to interview Cypher in one of the games we casted for the Thunderpick World Championship, and he said, oh, listen, mood's very good. And if something weird happens, something crazy happens, where we bottle it slightly, perhaps, they just forget about it and move on immediately, which is a good sign, of course, for that sort of roster at this level. Tavern will manage to hunt down Captain Kurtka, but actually, I was about to say he's not long for this world, but he's still battling. Unfortunately, Essential will remove him. And that is very handy for Bait. No gun saves for Bleed.
Yeah, 4 players staying alive for the T side as well. Going to be a good injection of money into their bank accounts. I like Essential's discipline there, not to chase down Faven either. Just waits for the repeat to come through and gets the kill. And Bleed, well, look at the investment here, Trav. In the 5th round, they've got 2 MP9s. Is that down to a bit of an overspend in the previous round? I didn't actually notice how much money Cypher and Vladden had kept at their disposal, but I feel like you shouldn't have 2 MP9s when you've got max round loss bonus behind you.
If I'm not mistaken, Cypher bought a Hero M4, I think.
Alright, well that adds up.
It adds up.
I still don't like it though.
No, I agree with you.
Both Cypher
I'm just
and
checking it now.
Vladden spent almost all their money last round.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're bang on. I see that from HLTV scoreboards. Alright, well, let's see if they can make it work. They've got an opening kill here once again, courtesy of their IGL. And that gun is somewhat recoverable on Catwalk as well.
Oh, hang on. Hang on a moment. There is,
How's he gotten
there
here,
is
then?
a snake in the grass. It's NPL. Oh, he knows where both these players are playing from. 1 and 2. Hampus and Vladden, see you later. Round done, pretty much, with the B site broken open.
I always get the nervy Tarek vibes, man. I can't help it. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, just type Tarek flank Mirage, and I'm sure it'll bring up exactly what I'm referring to. But NPL played it very well indeed, and in fact, he got offered those kills in the silver platter, didn't he? Didn't even have to do a whole lot to find the multi-frag, just both in front of him. Mops up, and the round goes the way of Bait.
That's another thing which Bait have done so well, right? I mean, we mentioned that NPL is sometimes, in the past, obviously, he struggled slightly on Na'Vi. I mean, maybe it was a bit too soon for him when he went to Navi back then. Perhaps he wasn't very comfortable at all, but in this roster at this level, while leading, at least to our knowledge, he is fragging up a storm on this roster. 1.17 rating last 3 months, and he is, making individual plays like that, which can be round turning, and that one certainly was. From that early opening pick for Bleed, lost to that murder hole flank, which can so often destroy your hopes and dreams on CT side.
Yeah, I mean, the problem for Bleed is they've had opening picks now in both of these rounds they've lost, and I'm referring to the gun rounds exclusively. At least they keep majority of their players alive there in the round they lose before this, so they can afford another investment. And Bait are just going to play out another happy default here, take their time, build themselves into the round. Good procedures on the utility usage and an opening kill to boot as well.
Yeah, I just had a quick look at the replay of that previous round as well, and seeing the timing of which NPL crept through the murder hole, it was absolutely spot on. They did the silent boost as well with teammate help, so they didn't have to make any noise jumping off the bench. Helpful, for sure. And another opening frag. Bleed struggling to get some life in this opening map. Maybe a little bit woozy. Perhaps. This is the early game of the day. It can happen. But that's no excuse at this level, of course. Now, walking through the ramp smoke. Ooh, Cirque sees his enemy but can't connect, and that could have been such an important kill to take back. He's now been tagged down to 36 HP. Faven in Palace is a great spot to have. That's actually a good reaction from Hampus, but he wasn't ready quick enough. If he was, he would have taken that kill easily. If, in this case, Alex will flick and take him, and now it causes Vladen to have to push really aggressively with the SMG MP9. Close up, spots one, and he doesn't get his job done. Captain Kirka takes that one. Alex has flanked Cirque in CT, and with the kit down, with Cirque down, Faven, even though he did get that really important equalizing kill from Palace, he has to sneak away.
Oh, man. I actually like the way that Bait deal with that. They know Faven's in Palace and they don't actually try and deal with him. They just use their utility to block him off completely, focus on the other aspects of the bomb site. Alex gets that huge kill on Hampus. He gets 3 in the round, but that frag on Hampus was monumental because that's what completely opened up the bomb site and alleviated all the pressure. Hampus came close, but AK trumps M4. Bleed going to call for a pause here to discuss the situation because the map has not started in a desirable fashion at all. Cirque has 0 kills. Couple players with 2 kills. I think Faven's up to 3, but we need to up those numbers, Trav. And I don't know if the numbers are good enough for them to buy here either.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, they've had full loss bonus for a little while now, but yeah, as you can see, I think they're going to be alright. But, I mean, the Bait's economy is, let's say, thriving. Hedrick and Alex are rolling in it at the moment, and they'll be a lot of bank to break through if you're Bleed to try and get back even in this half. And 8 have already at least confirmed that tie, and Cypher's been spotted jumping into under as well. So he'll throw a smoke immediately. With the support of Hampus on short. Of course, Cirque in a similar position too, with the AWP. Now looking to try and put some more pressure on mid. Hampus is actually wandering a little bit closer to that top mid smoke. Could easily be flashed in, but as Captain Kurtka makes an individual play, he gets removed by Vladen, but that is a really important kill to take. And I think Vladen's just spotted the second as well, and toward NPL, that's a really important second for him, because Essential did some great work toward ramp there.
Oh, Hedrick's scope would have been heard by Vladen as well, so he's definitely got the information that another player's come through as well. And how does Hedrick want to play? This is the question. His head is only just exposed there, and Vladen has found his 3rd kill to defend the B bomb site, all of them coming individually. Finally, a player will get out of apartments. It's Alex, but only just to be taken down here, surely, right? He's got no room at all to work with, and there we go. Hampus finds the kill. And it's going to be a much better look coming through from Bleed. After they call for a pause, they're able to remedy the defense and get things back on track. Not like they had to do anything particularly special there, though. I mean, you had Vladden who was just watching apartments, and Bait just try and push in on the timing initially. That player goes down. The second player's like, well, maybe because he's just killed his teammate and we've got to trade towards A, they won't expect another player. But unfortunately, Vladden has his wits about him and he just picks them off.
Yeah, very easy in the end, and it's funny, isn't it, when you win around like that and it was comfortable, 4 players alive, picking them off as they did. It's like, why couldn't we have done that sooner? But
yeah,
Bait have to be praised for how they've started this game, and Hampus, well, sometimes this can happen for any team. You can get off to a really clean start to a series, 6-0 in this case, and suddenly, off the back of that first round for the CTs, it can spiral slightly, and suddenly the game can become close out of what feels like kind of nowhere. Cypher does well to get one more. Hampus did kind of give up the ghost slightly there by spraying the smoke in top mid, and Cypher tries to go for a timing peek in window as that smoke gets re-thrown in there. And Headtrick will punish him, so again, an early advantage for Bleed has turned around. Cirque is in position towards short, and he really needs this frag, and he'll get absolutely domed by Captain Kirka, playing on the slight edge of catwalk there. Maybe adjusted the position that Cirque had to aim for, and they know that Vladden could be pushed up in the apartments too. They've played this one perfectly, Bait. What a recovery from the 3 versus 5.
And this is only something we're seeing from them in the past month. You go back before that, and they crumble in those situations, and understandably so. I mean, they'd only just added the players to the roster at that point, but now they've got fallback. You know, they've got options. There's layers to this team, even when things aren't going great in the round. They've got enough reps to know, okay, the best situation, the best solution is to employ X, and yeah, it works really well for them, man. Captain Kirka is looking pretty good here on Mirage so far. I do remember this being one of his better maps, and I think I want to say his best map was Ancients, and that's the next map after this. So
yeah,
if he can realize that form, Bleed are in for a tough time.
It's funny you should say that, because I was wondering which map you were going to say for second, and I was thinking, yeah, Ancient, definitely.
You had that in your mind as well?
Yes, I did.
Great, love that.
Yeah.
There we go. You validate me, Trav.
Cirque, rough start to this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, true.
And it's in those sort of 3 versus 3 situations where he's got that perfect line from short. He really should be getting one and falling away, or at least going 1 for 1 in that sort of scenario, but he just got absolutely domed instantly by Captain Kirk. Cleanest entry for him. And with the money and loss bonus, of course, that Bleed have, and the extra, of course, they've built up due to a couple of saves in the past. They've actually gone for a double AWP in this one. Hampus on the secondary, trying to help out. Cirque does get an entry, and actually NPL creeping through that con smoke is stopped by Cypher. So here's another advantage. This time, at least, it's a 5v2. Surely this one can't go awry.
You know me, Trav. I love my conspiracy theories. And Cirque didn't play the previous series for Bleed before this against Sampi, and there was no tweet from either Cirque or Bleed as to why he'd missed the game. And normally, if there's no malice, there's nothing to be scared of, then you just tweet and you say, yeah, private reasons or food poisoning, whatever it might have been. They didn't even tweet about the game itself, and they haven't tweeted about this game either. What's going on, Bleed social media? You got to up your game, because yeah, surely this is a quarterfinal match. Alex, he's upped his game. He's arrived to the party. 2 big kills coming through to try recover the 2 versus 5. I mean, he's left Headtrick in a position where he certainly can inflict further damage.
Yeah, I was worried for a second there that Bleed were going to continue to peak 1 by 1, and Vladden trading from default there wasn't able to get the frag on Alex that, of course, took down Favon in that underback position.
Yeah.
And
Headtrick's called it.
Yeah, I'm going to be real with you right now. These are the sort of things from Headtrick that pissed me off when he was on NIP.
Okay.
My guy
give it to me,
has...
Trav.
Listen, I understand. There's still quite a few rounds left in the half. There's like, what, 3? 9,700 is not exactly a brilliant bank to continue to buy the AWP for 3 rounds in a row if you were to lose them all. So saving makes sense. It's a 1 versus 3. It's an unlikely round that you would win. But listen, Bleed have only just got their second round on the board. You're with 7-1 up
Yeah.
at the time. More damage to the economy for Bleed could have hurt their buy in the next round, even if they'd lost it. Like, go for it, man. Like, just go for it. There's nothing wrong with going for it.
There's more up for grabs than just winning the round. It's not like that's the only thing. Even like you said, inflicting damage, forcing a few more guns to be rebought means if you win this next round afterwards, then you reset the CTs completely. So I agree. Head trick kind of misses a trick. NPL though, he's not wasting any time. He's just charged his way straight up catwalk into ladder room in the first 15 seconds of the round. He's already found himself in position. Cirque seems to be privy to it though.
Oh, Cypher needs to be careful. He's got 2 or 3 players having a go at him. And actually, decent movement there from Cypher in the end to hop off the stairs. So it's slightly more unlikely he'd get sprayed through that smoke and through the wood. That's a good tag and catch from Cirque. MPL down in that advanced position we mentioned. Another advantage for Bleed to work with. Headtrick still waiting top mid. A window swing like we possibly saw from Cypher early on in the game, but it won't be coming through for a while. Keeping an eye on Murder Hole for now. Faven playing with the ramp smoke, and Cypher just waiting to see if anyone lurks through. They've been burnt by a lurk through that position once already. Hampus on that secondary AWP, though, will be spotted out. The nade to fall back, and it's done quite a good amount of damage as well. They're quite solidly set now.
Yeah, they are indeed. 4v5, they don't have to make any moves. Looks like Bait are going to try and double pump their way in towards the speed bomb site. But Bleed are well poised to deal with the imminent execute here. 23 seconds on the clock. Bait have left themselves a lot to do with barely any time to do it. And Hampus and Vladen have a field day on the defense, making it work perfectly between the two of them. Headtrick this time will commit, but just straight to his death. And Bleed have strung consecutive rounds together.
See, that round that Headtrick just went for was slightly more ill-advised than I think the one previous, right?
Yes,
but listen,
absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. Look at what it is. It's round 11. He can buy up the AWP and still drop one. So don't get me, I understand that obviously he didn't get any loss bonus for saving on T side, but still, he kept keeping that gun for an extra round has helped a little bit. But yeah, he does just get put down by Hampus, which is good to see him delivering well on the AWP as well. So we've seen Faven AWP, we've seen Hampus AWP as a secondary on this team, and they all kind of work pretty well, to be fair, whenever I've seen them pulled out in the Bleed games that I have covered. Anyway, if Bleed are able to get out of this half with a 7-5, I think they're going to be absolutely delighted.
Yeah, they'd take that every day of the week based on the position that they were in, and Hampus is just loving life with the second AWP right now, man. He's having a lot of impact with the sniper. Senthiel's got a deagle. They don't have a huge amount of utility left remaining either. Just NPL and Captain Kirker with a notable amount. Bait need one more here on their T side, I'd say. One more of these next two would serve them really well. And it's more so for the confidence than it is the necessity of getting another point on the board yet. It's just because they were leading 7-1 at one point. So if this slips 5-7 going into their CT side, then things got away from them a little bit towards the end. Either way, they're going to try and get themselves in towards the speed bomb side again. There's going to be a boost up here, and Vaden's in a very good position to spot this out, but reaction's a bit slow, and that means Hampus now has to do it all.
NPL, that was absolutely so fast. And one thing that has been very obvious to see from Bait whenever they've gone for this cat play up toward B, or mid play up toward B, they have nearly every single time mollied apps. And nearly every single time, there's been someone there that they've managed to destroy almost immediately, right? It was Hampus this time with the AWP. Couldn't get one and fall away, and if he did get that one, he wouldn't have been able to survive. So yeah, I think Bait's protocols with these sort of plays up toward B have been very solid. They've realised if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Continuing to go for that, and it's working out really nicely.
I think what's been most impressive this half here from Bates is how they've been able to recover rounds in which they've had a disadvantage. Because I think Bleed have had the most opening picks here in this half between the two teams. They've definitely had more than Bait. I mean, I'm pretty sure, right? But Bait have 8 rounds on the board, so they've done really well at recovering these rounds where they've lost the first frag.
Yeah, Bait looking very clean. And this is the team we have seen recently, of course. We mentioned their recent record. Not a single map lost in the last 4 best of 3s. And only 2 in the last 16. Really been one to watch at this level. And Alex has been putting up great numbers as well in this game in particular. But he has been caught off guard a couple of times early in the last few rounds. He obviously had a 7-0 start in this game. Not been able to compound that other than maybe one hugely impactful round since. And he gets taken down by Cirque immediately after. Jin Kurtka down to 27 HP as well himself. And yeah, I think with the last round, of course, of this half coming in, I said that Bleed would be happy with 7-5. Well, they're going to have to be content with an 8-4 if they can get this over the line.
Well, it's another opening kill here. Is this going to be another one we chalk up to bait, though, is the question. It can't be for Bleed. If they go down 9-3 here in this first half, that would put them in a very rough position. Don't get me wrong, Bleed have a resolute T-side on Mirage. Hampus loves calling the T-side of Mirage. But, yeah, they're going to need that 4th round here just to give themselves a little bit more breathing room. That 4 counts for much either way. They trying to get themselves in towards the safe bomb site again. Favens and Palance making a nuisance of himself, and Cypher through the smoke will catch a glimpse of Ascenthiel. That's enough for him to take his whole life, and well, things have fallen apart here. Or bait. Not much time left remaining. They still have to try and find a way to plant the bomb here, but the util is starting to dwindle, and it's going to become a shooting range on the safe bomb site. 3 pickings.
Yeah, very nice with, of course, Faven having presence in Palace once again. He almost pulled the round back earlier on in the game from doing a play like that, but this time it works out for him, and that is 4 on the CT half for Bleed. Very nice indeed, and yeah, it's actually good to see them bounce back slightly. I think one of the things that's been spoken about with this Bleed roster is sometimes, a lot of the time it can be Cypher, but the other riflers stepping up as well is good to see. Of course, Bleed have been invited to a LAN coming up soon as well, so it's going to be really interesting to see this team in person in an in-person event. In a while, of course, that's been their goal to qualify for a LAN, and they got an invite this time. So that is it, the Mesa LAN? I'm pretty sure Mesa LAN.
It is,
which is pretty
yeah,
cool.
They've been playing a lot of Counter-Strike though, man. Bleed have been playing so much CS, so it will be good to see them on a LAN. Either way, it is going to be an exit in towards the B bomb side coming through from the T side. The response is head trick at range, but Ascenthiel, the anchor's been taken down. Alex has a frag, but he's still committed. He's actually gotten a second. Great work. I mean, how have they not been able to trade Alex out? My goodness, because he's just taking off every single one of their heads. Oh. Alex gets 4 kills from Catwalk as he goes up to 17-6.
Wow, incredible from Alex. What a game from him individually as well. And one thing I wanted to mention, I was just checking my stats at the end of the first half there to make sure I was getting this one right. You know, you mentioned all of Bleed's opening kills, right?
Yeah.
Bait won the half 8-4, but
yes.
Bleed had 8 opening duels to the 4 of Bait. Now that is something to look at later and say, how on earth have we had so many opening duels won compared to our opponents and not converted them?
I mean, I didn't have the numbers, but it did feel that way. And
yep.
yeah, you've completely verified that. That's crazy that Bleed had. And it's not like they always only had 1 opening kill. There was an occasion they had 2 opening kills that weren't converted. So certainly concerning signs here for Bleed. I mean, wasn't that another round that they had the opening pick? They killed the Ascenthiel, right? Before there were any frags from Bait. So that's now 9-4 for Bleed in terms of opening kills. How have we just got the complete reverse with the scoreline?
It is crazy. That is actually kind of crazy, yeah. Captain Kurtka ready to farm with the MP9 as we edge our way toward ramp. There we go. Gets himself 2. Only 2 because he's been swarmed by the other 2. And head trick actually. We'll have a bit of a whiffy one there. At least it sets up NPL with the MP9 to get some more cash than head trick would have otherwise gotten. But no worries for Bait. It's the perfect start to this game and to the second half as well. Bleed have some hard work to do on T side. It's going to be a long grind, but a grind that's doable for sure.
I mean, I got to cast them against Sampi. That would have been with Mr. Exner. And Mirage was really good for Bleed. They started on the T side. They went up 10-2 on their T side, of course. That is against Sampi, a completely different level of opposition compared to Bait. But they've proven they can do it on the T side already, and they've done it here in this round, Trav. They've found 2 opening picks. Surely this can't go wrong.
I mean, Cypher and Vladden, you know, they're a tickle away. They're a tickle away from going down. There is an MPL HE as well. Unfortunately, it's just been used and doesn't connect. But there we go. There is the answer back. And MPL was fighting in the open. Oh. And this is actually now an incredibly winnable clutch for Captain Kurtka. This smoke has been used smartly, but he's pushing up close to it. And this could be a smart move. Can he catch the timing? He's going for it. And that drops the bomb as well. This is now incredibly spooky. Vladimir will try and put a smoke onto that, but Captain Kurtka realizes there's a chance at connecting one bullet, which would have been enough. But Vladimir just about escapes it, and so do Bleed.
Yeah, you can't fault. You cannot fault the way that Captain Kurtka plays that. Good attempt coming through from him, trying to push the smoke there. Either way, Vladden will cut down the threat and Bleed win that all-important round. It comes probably a lot closer than what they would have liked, but they get across the line. It will be a force buy in response from Bait. It doesn't look great, but Alex has an M4. A Scout, couple upgraded pistols, and MP9 for Bait to piece together. As for Bleed, it's another one of those must-win rounds. We'll be saying that for a while yet.
This is the chance for Bleed. I mentioned, 10-4, it's a significant lead for Bait, but 10-12, it can be very much one that can disappear quickly. Just need to overcome this sort of round. This sort of round, which would stop Bait going for a second force buy in response. There's a player toward ramp, they've got to find it, and that's a great check from Faven. There is MPL still here, and he will manage to get that trade, but Vladden was always going to be there for that. Essential's still here, and this scout is still alive from Headtrick. They're facing it pretty much single-handedly. Cypher has, of course, been tagged up to 29, and in the end, actually, they do a really nice double swing toward the bottom of Con to remove Essential from the equation. But now Vladden's low as well, and Cypher just takes the initiative and peeks on the headshot angle. Nice dry Headtrick, so many tags, but again, that's 2 rounds in a row. Bleed have just squeaked it.
It's okay. They'll take it. They don't mind how they come as long as they get the point on the board. Salvage the round at the end of the day. It does come close there. Good attempt from Headtrick and Essential. But now Bait will have to bend the knee. They're going to have to accept their fate and save their money. And it means Bleed should be able to reduce the gap to 3 here. So things looking better for Bleed here on the T side. It's going to restore some confidence as well as they get momentum behind them. Instill some belief. That sounded like a one-tap.
Certainly agree. It is just against, of course, the pistols, so nothing too impressive. That's a good hard clear from Hampus. He wants the ecos. He'll go in for all of them. Eco, Hunter, Eco, Cobra, Hampus gets the triple. And Haven gets the other 2. Quick round done and dusted. And the gap's gone from 6 to 3 very quickly.
Question is, will it continue to be closed here or do Bait extend that gap by a round? It is going to be their gun round the first of the half. No AWP for Headtrick. Had a pretty tough time so far. Just 5 and 8. A quiet game from him so far. His services will be required if Bait are going to win here on Mirage. And look at the call here from Hampus. They're going to go for a palace burst into the A bomb site in this first gun round. I mean, Bait still have their attention focused towards mid, and I like the set of util Bleed have thrown. It's the sniper smoke, it's the top mid smoke, and now it's the exec straight into this bomb site. Captain Kirk is caught in transition. They know exactly where he is. That means it's a free frag on the A bomb site. Farven's found Headtrick. That's round over. You've got to call it a day. Clock out if you're Bait, as Bleed now make this map competitive.
They've warmed up into the game, haven't they? They've warmed up into the series. They've looked really good on this T side, straight off the bat. The pistol may have gone Bait's way, but as soon as the guns came out, the gun rounds have been unstoppable for Bait. That's been one of Bleed's strengths in recent times as well. So you can see why Bait are maybe getting a little bit edgy in their chairs now. Bleed are gonna manage to win this round as well with at least 4 players alive. Make that 3, never mind. They do go hunting, even though the fact they were quite low. I was thinking, okay, they've got some money built up, but hunting isn't a bad plan when they are still saving those guns, but they don't get any successes this time. No worries, though. Still a clean round, and they do survive with at least 3, which is enough, right?
I mean, they'll take it. It's not going to be a problem. They've got some spare money as well. Barely even looks like they lost players there after they've completed the buy here. As for Bait, at least they can plug the gaps as well. They've got to batten down the hatches now on this the CT side. I mean, things started off well. Able to win the pistol and convert that too, but since the gun rounds, it's been one-way traffic in favor of Bleed. No AWP again for Head Trick.
Yeah, don't forget for a long portion as well, in that first half, he was what, like 4 and 2, 5 and 3. He was picking off the odd player here and there, but not a huge amount of impact. Since then, he's found nothing at all.
Yeah, it disappeared a little. Cypher switching between left and right hand there, depending on the angle he's going to peek.
Yeah.
Makes sense if you're swinging middle to have your gun as the left-hand model, I suppose. And spot players a bit quicker. Make sure that your gun model's not blocking any angles off as you swing. Just a default from Bleed now. Taking their time to build themselves into this round. Not making any untoward plays. And Cypher knows, okay, if they're flashing middle, there's got to be something going on. And there is a play that's being made. At least Bait get a kill back, but it looks like that's put Bleed on notice. They've realized, okay, there's a lot of commitment towards mid right now. That means there's got to be space on one of the bomb sites, and they're going to head into A to try and exploit it.
Kurtka, oh, only gets the 1. I thought for a second it could have been a double, and that could have maybe changed things, but Bleed will confirm the man advantage still, and the plant. They're going to try and spam him down, and actually that's a really nice setup that Bait have. I really like that, and I'll explain why in a second, because it's a 1 versus 1 between a Hampus and Head Trick. Smoke in front of the bomb,
Sandwich.
and yeah, he manages to pick it up. There we
Smoke.
go. So this is now very doable for him, but of course Hampus has the HE, and that forces Head Trick back wide again. But he waits for the smoke to reappear, and now he's holding the defuse, and Head Trick finds it. Oh, that's frustrating for Bleed and for Hampus, but Head Trick gets some all-important impact on this CT side.
Oh, it is such an annoying way to lose the clutch, isn't it? Because it feels like Bleed do everything right there up until the post plant. You can't really fault them either because they get caught off guard by the double setup in towards CT. Head Trick watching Palace as if he's got an AWP. It's normally an angle an AWPer would hold. And then he sends his teammate to try and disrupt the plant. And because the plant is being shot at, the Palace player swings to try cover his teammate. But that's all by design for Bait. He peeks straight into Head Trick, who gets that kill. And then the planter still hasn't realized it's a second player CT. That's why he just runs off the bomb site so carelessly and exposes himself to the player boosted on ticket.
Yeah.
And then Head Trick holds his nerve to stick the defuse.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the thing I wanted to explain, but the 1v1 was more important at the time, right? And yeah, I think the thing that's super cool about that as well, as you said, but sort of the bait and switch effect of having that player, a setup that Bait put in place. As soon as the Palace player swings, I'm expecting it to be one player fighting on top of Ticket and one player fighting behind Ticket. Goes down for free. And as you say, that mid-site player couldn't get away. Bleed playing contact in the following round here. 3 toward the apartment straight away, trying to catch Bait off guard. The gap is 3 once again in this game, and now the timing as they go in toward B is going to be pretty impactful. Essential and Alex get a kill apiece. Hampus' trade is important. It gives Favin a chance for the bomb plant. And of course, there is a late rotation still to come through from Captain Kurtka. So right now, at least it's a 3 versus 3. Now he'll join up and make it this 4 versus 3. The course kits are available on MPL and Head Trick once again. There's an all-important smoke on MPL too. But look at Favin's position. Hiding behind that smoke corner. on the market window, but that's a great clear from Alex. It's going to be down to Faven. Oh, it's a nice clean tap on Headtrick, but Alex takes it. Can he pick up the kit in time? It's a long run.
Yeah, he's good.
I think he's good. Yeah, no worries. I know worries, I think.
Oh, good. All's well and ends well.
good.
Defuse
Oh,
comes through
good.
just in time. No stress at all. No pressure.
Oh.
I mean, good clear-minded thinking there from Alex to recover the kit before jumping on the defuse, because I don't think he has it if he defuses the bomb immediately. I think he'd miss that 10-second mark.
Exactly. And that's got, once again, an incredibly important round from Alex. Another triple kill, another multi-frag round. There's the kill on towards Cirque, and you can see the frag on toward Faven as well. Instant. And it needed to be, because Faven knew exactly what was happening and what was coming up next. 23 and 10 for Alex 666.
Yeah, some devilish numbers he's putting up right now. A demon in the server, that's for sure. One more round is what Bait require. I will say, it feels like life has been a lot more difficult for Bait here on the CT side compared to what we saw on the T side, but that's more down to how well Bleed are playing compared to Bait not really keeping up with the pace. And Ascenthiel's got a job to do, my goodness. They are going to be bursting in towards his direction on a moment's notice. One of the next 4. That's what Bait require. Bleed need 4 in a row to force overtime.
Always when your opponent's on 11, of course, you feel like you have a chance, but thanks to Alex for Bait, Bleed will not be feeling comfortable anymore like that. I'm not sure Bleed have ever felt comfortable in this game, apart from that little streak they had on this side of the map, of course. Vladden's creeping forward, but this timing from Ascenthiel could be so rude. The flash is good. Oh, it'll be Phil aggrieved. He doesn't get that kill, to be honest, but once again, guess who's here? It's Mr. Alex. Gets away with 2 kills with 5 health to spare. There's a low HP Vladden still fighting for his life. That's the assist for Ascenthiel as NPL takes him down. Cirque will get leapt upon. Headtrick will quickly trade it. So now Hampus is forced to face through the fire and flames. Alright, no! I thought for a second he had that one dead to rights. He thought Headtrick was still on the bomb, but not the case. Headtrick swings. He had a quiet second half, but basically won 2 rounds on his own there. And that gets Bait, map 1, in their hands.
Yeah, great work coming through there. I want to hear exactly what Exner has to say at the end of the first map. We're going to throw us to a break and, yeah, listen to our wonderful analyst, Wax Lyrical.
Yeah, it's down to Bleed to show up.
All right, goodbye, Exner. And hello,
Love
Trav.
you.
Here we go, baby. Whoa, hold on. Did you just say that to me or Exner? Because we're going to have a problem here if you're speaking to Cole, mate. Right in front of you. Surely not. All right, Trav. It's ancient time. Bait are going to have the choice of sides coming into this. Let's have a look at the past 2 times they played against Bleed on this map. I need to know halftime scores. So let's have a quick look. When they played against Ancient, it was the decider. Bleed started CT, went up 7-5, won the map 13-5. 0 rounds on the CT side for Bait. Next time they played, Bleed start CT again, go up 8-4. Better resistance from Bait. That time they win 6 rounds on their CT side. So let's see now with Bait starting on the CT side if the trend might change.
It's all about trends. It's all about recent results. It's all about to see which Bleed show up today. It was Bait on map 1, and already Bleed goes straight into the pistol. Look at Vladden, literally, he's the man in task with jumping backwards into the angle. He's still going backwards all the way. Bless him. He's trying to make himself as hard to hit as possible, but in the end, finally, Headtrick puts down the Bait. And Bait don't get baited. It's down to the cave player in Alex to deliver with the dualies, and Cypher will go down. 3 versus 5. In comes a quick rotation from NPL. And while Faven and Hampus may have got a few kills back, it's still looking tough for Bleed. Hampus will get a couple, and now it's all down to Faven. He's stuck on the default pillar, and he'll get immediately put to the ground by Captain Kurtka. What a pistol.
Tell me with a straight face you've seen a pistol round like that before. No, you can't, can you? That is crazy. Vladden running backwards the entire way through. As you say, there's a reason. It's very difficult to hit the back of the head of a CT model. So, yeah, Vladden's just trying to lead the charge and pull the attention away from his teammates who will follow up after him. Cypher offers his life up as well so that they can kill Alex in towards Cave. But problem for Bleed is Bait were always one man ahead because of that initial pick from the head trick onto Captain Kurtka. So, excuse me, onto Vladden. So yeah,
Yep.
Bait always having that extra man in the surplus is what makes the difference when it comes down to the trades at the end of the day, and they get the first points on the board.
Yeah, what a pistol. I mean, that was actually that was definitely a fun watch, that one. I thought Vladden was actually going to get away with it once he got himself all the way in toward Red Room and in toward the CT angle, but he was really the last player who faced, to be honest, that took that one. Alex will get the first kill. Cirque gets a quick trade. Essential will manage to remove Haven. I think my feed may be...
Yeah,
broken.
I'm like, wait, but is Blood casting off the kill feed here, or can he see what's
Yes.
going on? Okay,
Don't
there we
worry.
go.
Don't worry. They're
Well,
all wiggling.
They're all dead.
having a
Oh,
wiggle.
la, 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 vibrations shaking. Okay. It's cold.
They're chilly.
Having a laugh. Okay, well,
Well, you can see what
not
is
sure.
happening with the HUD, at least. You can see what's
do
happening
we
with
need
the HUD, at
to...
least.
Do we need to throw us to a break to figure this out quickly?
I think we can
Production,
we can just talk
just let
over
us
it for a
know.
second. There
Yeah,
we go.
yeah, I don't know if they have to
There we
have a
go.
little reset. That makes...
It's hard, and I actually quite like the HUD. I think he's
Yeah,
done a
I
great
do
job.
like this HUD as well. I like that we've got, you know, normally you've got all the information on the left and the right-hand side of the screen, which then kind of minimizes the amount you can see in the middle, whereas here in CCT, we've moved that all to the bottom of the screen, which means you've got a full view, a full range of motion from left to right side. Sometimes it can get a bit cluttered, so I like what they've done here, some innovation.
Yeah, and
I mean,
also,
too often we just see, you know, tournament organizers getting inspired by the guys at the top and then pretty much just carbon copying what they do, just changing up the color scheme and, you know, fonts and logos and whatnot. But it's good to see something different.
Yeah, and also like with the fact that at the moment we don't have a solid set in stone broadcast view model, right? Every player we watch has a different one. It's not one that's locked in the right hand. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Interestingly, I noticed you can't turn that off. You can't turn off seeing the personal view models when you're
Yeah.
in game yourself, which actually annoyed me a little bit as a player, to be honest with you. I was hoping there was a setting where you could just check a box and then it would just apply your default view model to everyone you spectated and not their personal one. I think that will be implemented eventually.
Yeah, I think so. And we're back in game. Don't worry, the game crash didn't last too long. And we're straight back in. And yeah, I think one thing as well, it's quite funny when, you know, some of my friends or maybe other people, I think it's a couple of players who've had some funky view models, right? I mean, Cypher's is a little bit different too. Some of the central ones, right, do look very strange, and people just get flamed for their view,
Yeah.
view model straight up, and it's yeah. Sometimes you want to hide
Bullies.
that, you know. You want to hide
Yeah,
that.
there's
You wanna keep it
bullies
to
out there,
yourself.
man. Same as the crosshair, although we have exposed a lot of the frauds out there with the crosshairs they use, so never really a bad thing. Either way, it is nice from a viewer's point of view, from a spectator's point of view. We can get more into that later because we've got a big exec coming in towards the safe bomb site. Captain Kirk are going to get cleared first. Oh, it doesn't look great on the spray. Head trick only going to be good for one as well. A lot of residual damage done to both Cirque and Farvin will at least get traded out here by Bait. So they keep the numbers even, and in fact, NPL goes one step even further. He's dropped the bomb carrier, and this makes life very awkward for Bleed because they don't have anybody on the bomb site itself, although Vladden tucks himself in the corner really nicely. The question is, does he realize Vladden's crossed? Excuse me, NPL.
Yeah, that's a great position for NPL. It's something that actually is going searching here. Not sure this is necessary, to be honest, but it works out for him. He gets the timing just as Vladen swings. So it's down to Hampus. He's on a nice flank, but the timing... I was about to say the timing on Zindio is really good, but actually pulls it out just as Hampus crosses the angle. So it's Essential, one of the young guns on this team, the newest gun on this team. Up against Hampus. Oh, and he guesses the position of the plant. Hampus even changed up that position of the plant. So often that plant position is on the corner of the plantable area, right? And he plants in the middle of it, but the sound cue is too easy for Essential to hear.
Do we have any peripheral partners? I don't think we do, right? Because I just want to shout out his headphones. They clearly have very good directional sound if he's able to track down the bomb planter like that, right? And I love the confidence from Essential to spray through the smoke. He could have tried to fake as though he had rotated back around through middle in towards Red Room. But he didn't. He just straight up goes through the spam through the smoke. And he gets the kill. Means Bait win the first gun round despite the fact, guess what, Trav? They lost the opening pick.
Incredible. Who'd have thought it, huh? How many is that going to add up to? And this game is done and dusted. NPL will creep forward in mid though and gets unceremoniously put down. And that's a great response from Essential though. Hampus only gets the one this time, and Hedrick was going to advance forward there to help out Essential, and actually deciding not to could mean that this round spirals slightly. If Hedrick had gone forward and helped, that would have been an instant trade, and it would have kept it into a 3 versus 3. As it is, Bleed have a chance to regroup in a 4v3.
Oh, this is a really big gunfight right now, and Cirque is going to get dropped. A lot of damage done, but now it's going to force Bleed's hand in towards the B bomb site. So much information gained by Captain Kirker in the process. 40 seconds on the clock. They could still try pivot elsewhere, but oh, down by a man now. Have to recover the bomb. It's only Vladen left. His teammates have been picked apart. It was a bit of a half investment from the T side. And Hedrick, unfortunately for Bleed, will stand tall in that gunfight as he takes down Vladen. There we go. Bait able to deal with the half buy. They do suffer some losses in the process though. And in fact, the round gets a lot closer than it looks on paper there.
Yeah, for sure. Could have all changed due to Hedrick's positioning, but he only gets his kill either way. It was a bit of a struggle. You can see him in the player cam there, putting forth some ideas by the looks of things. Making his point known. It's always nice to have the player cams in action, of course, for the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
CCT gives us a lot more of a picture sometimes of what the mood is like. Look at this. Toward mid, Captain Kutka has to face Hampus. He does, and NPL spraying that smoke will get removed by Favon. So actually, it kind of goes south for Bait there. They lose NPL and Captain Kutka down low from his kill. So they may have a very slight advantage with Favon on 2 HP, but we'd have a chance to work this one out still. Cypher, of course, will see the nade trajectory coming in from Jaguar. And Bait will still stay together as a duo around Cave to see what they can do against this B pressure coming in.
Oh, it's going to be a solid exec here. All 4 players for Bleed making their way up ramp. Essential wants to force the issue, but he's gone down. Alex, the first responder, gets a kill, but should be traded and is. Although, Hedrick's gotten a nade kill, so that does actually keep the numbers even here. Captain Kirk is still low. Cirque's taking damage from the wall bang. Oh, it's actually still looking pretty uncomfortable right now here for Bleed, but with that frag onto Captain Kirk certainly does make life a little bit easier. That molly physics doesn't really bode too well there for Hedrick. Should know that Cirque's in the corner, and he's going to clear out the entire way through. He's taken Cirque down. Where's the bomb planted? Hedrick has got a kit. No. Vladen's going to have to rush forward here. He's going to have to push his way through. Does he get the kill in time? Yes, he does. Only just.
Oh my goodness. That must have been so tight. We're talking 10th of a second, perhaps. Formula 1 levels, maybe. Oh my word. How on earth? I thought for a second that Bleed had missed a trick. But in the end, Hedrick couldn't convert it. Vladen, look, here's this. I mean, I was so surprised they even allowed Hedrick to fully cross that angle, right? And Vladimir was rotating around the back of the site, wasn't there in time to stop that cross, and you thought maybe he'd spray at least a few bullets through that to stop that from being a possibility, but not this time. And off the back of that, Bait, with the buy they have, continuing to stay aggressive, continuing to try and suffocate Bleed, but Alex is using the entire clip, and now Cypher has got him locked into the corner. Surely he doesn't get away with a kill here, and he does not. Cypher takes 2, and now Bleed are off and rolling on this T side. If they manage to deal with the MP9 Captain Kurtka. That was a bit rough for a second, and he actually has survived with 79 HP, so he's got plenty to work with here. There's going to be a double lineup, though. Another trade. The round's still on, to be honest.
It all depends on what happens in middle between Vladden and NPL. NPL's been tucked in this corner for a while with the P250. Vladden might not actually hard clear this, as he makes his way forward. It's all about the awareness, and there we go. On offer for NPL, and he will find that kill. Now we're down into a 2 versus 2. Sometimes you want to let the T player push forward so you can get an idea of which direction he was going in, and then you kind of have an understanding of where the Ts might look to try and end up. As Captain Kirk has now gone on a mission, and unfortunately Bait have misread this one. Cypher and Cirque have made their way up ramp into the B bomb site, and that is not where Bait are headed with the defense. But they'll hear the util, so that'll give them at least a little bit of a head start on this rotation.
Yeah, Captain Kurtka, though, only that 50 HP, and Cypher swings for him really nicely. That's 3 for Cypher in this round, and even though MPL got the P250 frag and picked up the AK, there is no kit. So I think he'll just be playing for exits here. Cypher started the round, and it looks like he could be ending it too. Yeah, the save has to come through, and that's a great recovery from Bleed, considering Bait continued to fight for that round.
Yeah.
MP9 push toward B. P250 in the doors, getting that one. That sort of made them have to answer some questions, of course, not knowing exactly where Bait will have repositioned after that. Well recovered.
Yeah, I was a little bit circumspect of the way that Alex approaches the position he's in here, because he spams all of his bullets through the smoke initially, and then he has no way to escape. I think after he runs out of ammo, he's probably best off just taking his knife out and then jumping back into Jaguar, Either way, Bait will now have to settle for an eco, so Bleed should draw within a round. Just that carried through AK, which will be a point of resistance, but not much outside of that.
Shouldn't be a big issue. And Bleed, even though they're still 4-2 behind in this second map, felt like they had one hand on the game when they were back to, 10-8 on map 1, and they recovered it from 10-4. Feels like if they manage to take this one comfortably, and the gun round will start, of course, at 4-3, they might have a couple of hands on a map, because I've been playing catch-up, it feels like, in the entire series so far. There is a Zeus in play.
Give it to me,
has
Trav.
that.
I want it. I want
So
that
do
Zeus. We don't
But they've
see many
nerfed
Zeus
it.
kills. I know, and I saw the nerf with Cole the other day. Coming into effect. It was sad. They're going to clear the corner, though, obviously.
Oh!
Oh, you're not clearing that corner when you've mollied the right side. At least Cypher's found a second kill straight afterwards, so man advantage is in play here. The rifle's in towards mid, so there won't be any problems for Bleed, but Hampus has got a bit of a rude awakening.
Alright, you can always rely on Cypher in that situation. He was always going to be the second man in for that one. P250 is hurt toward the back of the site. I don't know if the AK is here yet, but lots of damage now spammed through that, and that's NPL down. Unfortunate, couldn't get that one into position at all. And Headtrick has managed to at least pick it up, but he's going to have to fall away with it. So yeah, I mean, Bleed, 4 players alive. They can convert this from here. And he's going to be bolstered. And Bait will certainly have a game on their hands.
Yeah, when we look at Ancient for both of these teams, Bait, they favor the CT side heavily over the T side, by the way. They do tend to struggle quite a lot on the T side of this map with only a 39% win rate compared to 52 on their CT side.
Yeah.
Whereas whereas with Bleed, it's almost equal. 53 plays 55 on the T side, so they don't really mind which half they find themselves here on Ancient. Makes sense with it being their map pick. Comfortable across the board. Inferno's next, and Inferno used to be basically the best map for Bleed, but in recent times it's fallen off. They've lost it the past 4 times in a row they've played it, so it's not like it's a situation where it used to be, if, you know, Inferno was the decider for Bleed, it was almost a locked-in map for them.
It never feels like, unless you're perhaps, I don't know, the really strong G2 we saw at some points in last year, where there were some of the best T sides in the world on Inferno.
Even still at the moment, their Inferno is great.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just more thinking when they actually won things, right?
True. Yeah.
But yeah, I think Inferno is a very hard map to continue to put that sort of form across consistently. It can be such a lottery. Just, you know, occasionally losing a couple of frags is enough to lose you around with how difficult it is to retake and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, Bleed have looked very good on it, as you say, but have being the key word. Will they today, if we get there? That is the question. Early advantage for Bait in this round, though. NPL does well to remove the main man, Cypher. And even though Bleed have total mid control, looks like once again the plan could be an execute toward B. They do have enough utility for that. A couple of flashes, couple of smokes. Mollies as well will be pretty important too. And they're going to actually work their way through Jaguar this time.
I do like Essential's timing on the smoke because he knows there's a double flank through A main right now. He's trying to buy as much time for his teammates. The problem is Bleed's execute is imminent. They could even catch these CTs in transition. There is a third player who's just arrived on the bomb site, but Bleed are really well poised to just devastate the defense right now. Problem is they've lost Hampus. Now turns into a fairly one-dimensional hit. Everybody looking to try and make their way through Cave, but there's a fresh smoke at Bay. Oh, I mean, NPL maybe gets a little bit ahead of himself, and they're going to try go A. No, never mind. Essential's already circumvented the rotations, cuts them both down, and Bait regain the lead.
Really nice. And, you know, we were speaking about Essential. First time I saw him on the team, I mentioned, of course, you know, seeing in the open qualifier games that I've, you know, streamed and tried to catch his style from the very beginning. Often put into these sort of situations, these very tough anchor positions. Struggled very much in his first HLTV games, but they're kind of deceiving as to how his stats look now. He's been very impactful in these sort of situations for this Bait team as of late, and a quad kill there really does tell the tale. That was really nice from him, and he's improving every single day he plays on this team. But he's got some more to do now, because already Bleed have changed it up. First time this game, we've gone fast toward A. And of course, so often, that gives you a plant to work with. The CTs often play retake. So it's a full 5 versus 5, but a lot of damage has been taken either way. Can Bait find a way back in?
How do they go about this retake is my question. It looks like they're going to send basically everybody into Temple right now. There's going to be a big skirmish breaking out here. Cypher and Hampus looking to work in conjunction with each other. They're only going to be able to get the one kill initially. Farven will extend that with the frag. Cirque gets in on the action as well. And that's round over. No way back into this for Bait. Head Trick is low. He's already headed for the hills. NPL will oh, never mind. Head Trick hung around. He can't afford to though. Doesn't have much health. And we know how unforgiving the bomb explosion is on Ancient. But Bleed do a really good job of getting themselves back to winning ways here after losing the gun round before this.
Yeah.
Great work, as you say. Great strat as well. A very good call. Just that fast-paced play into the A bomb site. They do catch Bait with that variation. Set up no one on the A bomb site from the start of the round, and that means things just go really well for them from there.
And that's what can happen with Ancient. That's for sure. A very retakeable map, of course. So if that was maybe a different situation where Bleeder maybe lost a kill and a Bait player had to fall back behind a smoke and play retake or something, that retake could have come through. But in a full 5 versus 5, if the picks go the way they do, it's very unlikely. Cert getting an important headshot as well and surviving. And it looks like a trick off the back of that. He's already going to put himself into position, and Bleed say, well, it worked last time, let's try it again, just on a slightly different timing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it really hasn't worked out well for them. Cirque and Cypher are tagged up, Headtrick and NPL have gotten their 2 kills. There's Alex with his little boost on top of the box to try and get a deeper angle, but Vladden has to do it all, and he can't do that. NPL and Alex will finish off the round, so they get a couple of kills apiece, and Bait change it up and catch Bleed off guard.
Yeah, one thing I do know is Hampus loves a double call there. You know, he really does enjoy on the T side. If you make a fast-paced play, he likes to do it a second time in a row. Because as bait, you're thinking, okay, we didn't stack anybody on the A-bomb side the previous time, but what are the chances they do it again? Let's focus mid again, because they're probably going to go mid, and that's where you catch them off. But bait stay one step ahead. Either they know Hampus's tendencies, or they just read the situation well. Either way, set up to deal with what Bleed throw at them, and Bleed have now decided to throw a force buy at the wall. Trav, is it going to stick?
This is a rough purchase, but Cirque, he's making it happen already. AK gets that 1 kill. He will swap it over to Fathom, but of course in the process of doing that, it does split them up. It's messy from Bleed. They wanted to get that AK onto a full health player, and I understand it's absolutely the right decision, but they did it in the midst of the push.
Yeah, that's probably not the best timing to try and juggle things around, Trav. And Alex, well, he doesn't squander that opportunity. A really nice little spray transfer there from him to get all 3 kills. As Bait now take a guaranteed lead into the second half, and they should be able to actually replicate the first half scoreline from Mirage. Not going to be playing up against much in this next one. And you look at the numbers for Bleed, Trav, they're not pretty. Everybody's negative right now in terms of their KD, and yeah, it just hasn't been a very inspiring performance from Bleed up until this point. There's been moments, but just not enough to really string it together.
Yeah, absolutely. I said they were in the game at 4-3, right? I was thinking it's up to Bait now to answer straight back and keep them at arm's length. They've done exactly that. But of course, we know that the Bait T side has been the problem on this map, so it might still be a story to tell on Ancient. That's actually a great spray from NPL. It looks messy, but he recovers it with that last bullet in the clip to take that second kill, and in the end, close out the round for Bait. And a very comfortable one at that, and another 8-4.
Bait are going to be so happy with that. As we spoke about coming into this map, their CT sides have been troublesome against Bleed. They haven't had the luxury of starting on the CT side yet, and they've lost both the previous times they've played against Bleed on Ancient. This time, though, they've got a decent lead going into the T side. However, we know that their T side has proven to be lackluster in the past on Ancient. So, is this enough, Trav? Is 8-4 enough here for Bait to finish off the job?
Let's see. Let us see. The good sign for Bait is that Alex is keeping up his form from map 1. And he's joined by Headtrick and NPL. And especially Essential as well. It's a really good sign when Essential is playing super well for Bait. Because he doesn't have to be the point man on this team. It doesn't have to be him. So if he's playing well, it shows that things are well set in stone. And it looks like they're going to try and push down Hampus. Yeah, this is dangerous. Pushing down one player when you have the bomb on your back. And it will get dropped onto the floor. There's 2 more players to face as well. It's very messy. Cypher does really well to get 2, and Cert gets another. I'm not sure about Bates' decision to push the bomb into Donut, solely looking for 1 kill. You know the rotation is going to be so quick. They still might be able to get away with it, though, of course. Alex has got full health. He is going to try and cut them off, but they're just chasing each other right now. He's gone back toward A instead. Cirque, ring around the rosy. Benny Hill music will start playing. And Alex will eventually get the bomb planted, and he will remove Cirque. Can you believe it? It's down to Fathom, back and forth. And now he has to push forward with no Kevlar, of course, as well. He'll get teamed up on. Alex with a quad kill on the pistol again. We saw that on the CT side of Mirage. Wow. Okay, that is some way to win it.
What a ridiculously comedic pistol round coming through there from Bait as well. And you know what? It's not like their initial plan was to then... Okay, so let's actually start this from the beginning. Can we call for a pause here to break this one down? We essentially have one because it's going to be an eco round for Bleed. So Bait's plan, it's a pretty standard way to approach the T-side pistol, smoke off CT, and then try and take donut control. Hampus does really well to stay alive for as long as he does, and Bait's questionable decision was committing the bomb there, because if the bomb carrier gets dropped, it means nothing having the site itself. All of a sudden, rotations have come through thick and fast from the CT side, and a whole lot of gunfights, breakouts in donut, trades are the name of the game. Then Alex gets isolated in donut, and he has to try and run away to keep the bomb in his team's control, and initially he was going to go B because Captain Kirker had doubled back through A main to go B. Then they realized, listen, both the players are chasing me down right now. I might as well just go through Red Room and wrap around back A. And then all of a sudden they've done Bleed a doozy. They've sold them down the river as they get control of that A bomb site.
Beautifully explained, and it did take the entirety of the full eco. So
it was a lot to get through.
Beautifully done. And yeah, I think the thing that's funniest about that is that once we saw the first pistol round of this game, we saw Vladen B-hopping down mid backwards to try and make himself hard to hit. Probably thought to ourselves, that was the wildest pistol we'll see in this game so far. But I think that one was definitely a little bit funnier and a little bit, well, I say not as well thought out, but in the end it was very well thought out from Bait. Quick thinking on the fly, right?
Yeah, exactly. Good mid-round decision-making coming through from them, playing the situation, and now it's going to be a fast-paced call coming in towards the say bomb site. Vladen's out in the open, gets the first kill, sees a few more rampaging forward, and he actually is able to avoid the might of the trade. He's even crossed now as he repositions on 6 points of health. Is there a nade? There is. Okay, so at least Bait can force the trade, but some significant damage has already been done here by Bleed.
This is an important start. We know that 10-4 turned into 10-8 in the first map. Couldn't convert Bleed, couldn't continue the comeback, but I think there's definitely a chance if they can convert these first few rounds, whittle down that T-set economy, put Bait on a couple of ecos. We know that Bait on the T-set of this map have not had the best of success lately. Right, in it comes. 3 players toward A, creeping forward. They've got utility and they've got the bomb, but they want to try and play contact and maybe use this boost up and toward the platform. They failed it the first time, but Essential's going to have a great angle. Oh, Favin should have taken that one. Essential takes a critical headshot, and now Hampus is under a lot of pressure in toward Donut. He needs to stand tall, and he absolutely will. And I can tell you for certain that is not the first time I've seen him do that from that very position. What a brilliant triple kill hold.
How's he gotten all 3 kills from that position? That's insane that he doesn't actually get traded out. Great work out of Hampus, and not even a smile in celebration. You can see that things are pretty tough in the Bleed camp right now. All started off with Vladen's heroics there, double kill on the defense, and then Favin should have locked in the round, but Hampus certainly did. Third player probably wasn't expected to be required to trade there. That's why he peaks later.
I have double deja vu right now. You know, I said to you two, I've seen that same play before. I definitely said that last time he did that. I've seen him play that position and get multiple mode out. I don't know when it must have been ages ago.
We start calling that corner Hampus, maybe? Because I don't think it actually has a name. We kind of just call it like the bench or close right. I love close right. That's my favorite spot.
Yeah, I think it's actually. Yeah, I definitely remember multiple instances of Hampus playing. Obviously, it would have been on his previous teams as well, and maybe some stand-in instances as well, because he's been in and out of teams, of course, for a while, but since he joined Bleed. But it's absolutely not the first time I have seen that happen from him, and yeah, maybe we should call that Hampus, because the mow down from Donut, once again, will go his way. I thought he'd be in trouble. When I saw that position, I was like, okay, he can get multiple kills here, and he gave us exactly what we wanted and what he wanted. Now, Bait on their buy. Their final buy. Galil, 3 AKs, 1 Deagle. Utility is okay, but not great. And Cypher needs to find a way to get away. Thankfully, he's got support from Favin's utility. The HE removes MPL. Another advantage for Bleed to work with.
Yeah, and that advantage has been extended now by Cypher as well. Bleed looking to get the ball rolling here on their CT side. They want to keep themselves alive in this quarterfinal, Trav. They have very little room to work with, and, well, Cypher has somehow been afforded a second shot at life. Captain Kirker, well, he's all the way in the backline right now. Bleed should expect that this could be the case, right? And they do. the gunfight comes through, and it's going to go Cirque's way.
There we go. I mean, the health is still a bit of a problem. I know Headtrick's low as well. Headtrick obviously needs to be the man to go first in this scenario. Oh, why is Alex going first? He's going to try and clear the angle, and yeah, I mean, I would have much preferred Headtrick to go in first there. Set Alex up. Alex has been the star in this entire series so far, and he was the one on full HP. That didn't make much sense to me, but Headtrick at least still has a chance. But look at what... I was about to say, look at what Faven's doing. In the end, he plays a little bit too aggressively on it, and the danger is has been removed. There we go, as Cirque takes the frag, but it was a bit dangerous for Faven just to give his life up there.
I will say it does feel like Headtrick is the last surviving player more often than not for bait, and maybe kind of plays into what you're speaking about there. Headtrick should have been going first ahead of Alex, not only because Alex is in better form and he's actually the rifler as well, but he had more health. However, Headtrick is the one who gets the trade, but can't do much thereafter. 10-6, going to be an eco now for the T side, so Bleed have a really good shot here, just clawing their way back, reducing the gap to 3. And maybe starting to put a little bit of pressure onto bait.
There are always two ways of looking at that situation, right? You can look at it as if to say, well, the full HP player has a much better chance of winning his duel if he goes in first, and then we have 2 players alive rather than a more likely one. But yeah, it's situational without a doubt. I think in that situation I would have preferred Headtrick going first, though. Probably were talking about it in the team speak and maybe discussed exactly that before they went in. Who knows?
Can't lose this round, though.
Yeah, you can't. You absolutely can't. It's a full 4 Tech 9s and a Deagle. Pistol buy for bait. Essential taking that opening frag onto Faven. He's not had the best of games, Faven. He's now a problem for Bleed.
I don't know if you really want to be taking this fight either as Hampus. I mean, it's a nervy one against the pistols, and it actually looks like Bait have done a really good job of drawing the attention in towards that B bomb site. Vladden has spotted them looking to transition. Not only has he spotted them, he's mowed down 2. Really good work coming through there from Vladden to at least thin out the numbers. I mean, there's an eco around here for Bait, so we weren't expecting a huge amount from them, but Vladden has just pretty much single-handedly made sure that there's no way Bait can make anything happen.
Yep, NPL goes splat. You heard it from Vladden's POV. Now the defuse will come through. If Alex managed to hit that 1 dig, then who knows? Maybe he would have figured out the lineup and maybe would have been able to find a couple more. But that's for a different universe and not in this one. Bleed take the round. What did I say about the comeback being a possibility again? It went from 10-4 to 10-8 on map 1. Now we've gone from 10-4 to 10-7. Can Bleed keep it going this time?
A good question. It is going to be Bait who use their remaining pause. Bleed haven't used a single pause yet here on the map, which is peculiar considering the way that things have gone so far. Would have expected them to just have a little bit of a break here. Either way. (10-7) as we head into this gun round. No AWP for Headtrick. Not by choice either.
No. Don't forget, of course, this is just our first quarter-final of all 4 being played out today. Second game, we'll be there with you for that one as well, is Medisport versus BetBoom. Looking forward to that game. That should be a fun one. And the last 2 best of 3s of the day, Ruby versus 9 Pandas and Mouse NXT versus Endpoint. I definitely feel like we've been lucky to get the 2 bangers of the day, Hayes.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Definitely the pick of the games. I'd say that Medisport versus BetBoom is going to be a spicy affair. Either way, is it going to be a 3rd map here in the series, or is it just going to be the 2? If they can win this gun round here, I'd assume they can get it done in 2, but let's see what happens. Have been able to force the CTs back from middle and from Jaguar as well, so Bait doing a good job of just gaining some control here across the board.
I can confirm to you, a discussion we had earlier, it will be Plopsky playing again today, but Medisport's exact words were, due to contracts not being in place with our 5th player, we will be playing again with Plopsky today. So you have to assume Plopsky won't be their 5th long term.
But they could also just be trying to throw you a curveball there, right?
Yeah, throwing me a bone perhaps.
I reckon it's going to be Plopsky. That would be my wager.
We'll see. We shall see. Either way, he is playing for Medisport again today, in case you guys were wondering. Cypher pushing forward into Cave, into Jaguar. And Essential will remove him straight away. That puts a lot of pressure on this Bleed defense now. MPL removed Faven. He was low already, and now Cirque's been locked behind that Molotov. He knows the possibility of getting peeked from his left. He does well to find NPL, but reloading slightly in the open there,
God,
Cirque.
Alex.
What is that?
Killed Hampus first.
He killed Hampus first as well. Just to double it down, Cirque was trying to jiggle the box. I feel like that's maybe some positional errors from both the two players there, trying to play off of each other.
You can see the X's are in a neat little line there. And I reckon Alex is probably shooting at Cirque, and then Hampus just catches a stray bullet in the back line there. Nothing you can do about it, unfortunately. And a really solid exec there from Bait. I do want to say, I figured it out with Metasport. I've read between their lines, and they don't catch me off with their clever wording, Trav. Because why? Riddle me this. Why wouldn't they just be using Susp if they needed a player? If they needed a stand-in? He's on the bench, still a part of the org. His brother's Adam B, so you know he wouldn't sandbag. And, yeah. I figured it out. It's done.
You know what? Fair enough. If Plopsky's actually the 5th long-term, then I'll give you your just dues.
Oh, mate, don't I get like a Copenhagen Flames jersey or something like that this time? I just get some just dues this time. Nothing more than that.
That's what I said last time, wasn't it? What about a free Fnatic hoodie? I'll give you that.
I'll take that, baby. Let's go. Okay, Plopsky is added to Metasport as the 5th. If I see Trav again in a month's time, I can get that hoodie.
There's a chance. Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's a chance.
Alright, there's a chance here for Bleed as well. They've pieced together what they can afford, but they've lost a Farven. A wild Farven has been taken down. He was committed forward by the Molly. My goodness, what is happening? Cypher's so low, but he's been able to fall back. Not for long, though. A hail of bullets from NPL and Alex will result in his death.
Ah, man. Bait. Pulling away again, just when Bleed looked like they were trying to answer back. It's been the same the whole best of 3. Keeping Bleed at arm's length. Got to 10-8, pulled away to 11-8. Got to 10-7 in this map, pulled away to 11-7. And now they have a 5 versus 3. Very similar patterns from Mirage to Ancient. Hampus needs to find a way to answer back, and that could be a great way to start it. He's got the Deagle. He's still got Vladden and Cirque playing above each other. Oh, but now they need to make sure they check for Vladden, and they have.
No.
This is now rough. Captain Kirk dealing with Cirque on that timing. Destroys the possibility of that play, and he can't even get away because the nade is a heat-seeking one, it feels like. It follows him all the way in toward Cave and in toward the edge of Jaguar. And Bait are running riot. Could be another series. 5th series in a row, 2-0.
Yeah. And it's not a coincidence, mate. I mean, they were always destined to start putting their results together, but when things come together for Bait, they come together really well. And that's exactly what we're seeing in practice now and in their past few matches. And it's really good to see because we knew with these 5 names on paper that they were cooking. And now the proof is in the pudding. It's delicious, isn't it, Trav, as we get to eat it up here.
Yeah. They've got a great chance to win this entire CCT, without a doubt.
And what a story that would be for them as well. Remember, they came through this from the Swiss stage.
Yeah. Of course, Ruby,
who in
our third quarterfinal later on today, came through from the close qualifier from the very beginning. So
that's a good point. Swiss stage 3-2 for them. So, and it's not like it's completely impossible to envision a world where they could win their game later on today.
Not at all.
I mean, I know 9 Pandas are really solid, but there's a lot of talks about roster changes in their team as well, so there could be some instability. Either way, 12-7. 5 map and series points now for Bait. 5 chances to finish this off 2-0 and lock themselves a spot into the semi, where they'll play the winner of Mao's NXT and Endpoint later on today.
Cirque managed to find NPL, but they need some of their stars on Bleed to multi-frag here. They've got 2 MP9s, the Eagle, the M4, and the AK, and Hampus will be upset he doesn't take that one. At least Cirque is there for the instant trade. There's a better game as Cirque, for sure. But it might not be enough. Captain Kurtka will push forward in toward Donut. I think Vladden knows what's going on. Tries to fight with the Deagle.
No.
Can't make it happen. At least Cirque gets the kill again. He's got 3 in this round. Looking for the aces, Cirque. But 45 health now left on him. Favan's actually got really close up into Temple already. but it's Alex and Headtrick. And Alex has been, without a doubt, even if Bait somehow find a way to lose this map, our MVP of the day so far. And there could be a chance for him to close out the game for his squad. Cypher, Cirque and Fabian will work their way forward. There are no kits in play. Bait are playing time because of that. And Cypher will try and hold a 10-second defuse, but it's not going to happen. Headtrick's going to peek him. And Headtrick figures it out for Bait. And that is a glorious win for them. And another in 2-0 fashion.
And not only 2-0 fashion, but complete and utter dominant fashion as well against an informed lead. This is a really